Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of War Machine Season 3.1. So, we are now in the last episode of this 4-episode series that will determine the last 5 spots that's in the grand final bracket that we've turned last chance brackets. So yeah, we've had 32 robots who have fought hard to get to this spot, and we completed one bracket of 16 robots, and then we're currently in progress with the second one, and we are down to the last 8 robots here that are in contention for those spots. And the idea is the top 5 of these 8 robots that we will be seeing tonight will be getting those spots in the grand final. So yeah, we've seen several hard-fought fights so far from all of these robots, and definitely we're going to see how well it pays off, because 5 of these robots we will be seeing in the next episode. We are getting so close to that grand final, and we're getting even closer, and we're getting just as close towards crowning the War Machine Season 3.1 champion. So yeah, a lot is on the way. Let's go ahead and review the bracket. Okay, so right at the top there, we got the top seeded 900 still in it after their first round matchup in this bracket. They'll be taking on PP3D, a difficult undercutter here. That should definitely be an interesting warfare of 2 spinners. Then we're going to go over to quadrant number 2, where Toxic 2, the favorite in that section, made it through in their last fight, and they'll be taking on another powerful flipper in Dystopia, who should definitely give them a big run for their money, and always, we love a good flipper battle. Right down below in quadrant number 3, the dangerous vertical spinner of Electric Boogaloo made it through after their recent matchup, and they'll be taking on the powerful and durable flipper Bullfrog right there. That should be another interesting showdown that we'll get to see tonight. Then over on the 4th quadrant, the top 2 seeds both made it through. Razer and Mute, the 4 and the 5 seed, will clash it out. Yeah, and so the idea, as I've mentioned already, is that the top 5 robots will make it through. The idea is, if you win your first matchup here, basically the winners of their first 4 fights will be confirmed grand finalists. But just like last time, we're going to continue to play out the bracket to the very end for seeding purposes. Between the 4 robots that don't come out of the first round matchups here with a victory, basically the 4 robots that come out of the first round matchup losing their matchup, they are not out yet, because we will do that 4 robot rumble similar to what we did in the last bracket. But the one difference being, only the top robot will make it through. Because like last time when we did the 3rd place bracket, the top 2 made it through. That will not be the case for this one. There's only 5 spots rather than 6 in the next bracket, and so only one of these robots will make it through. The other 3 are done for the main competition. So yeah, there's a lot on the line tonight, a lot I'm looking forward to here. And like I said, we're getting that close to the grand final. Starting next time, we will start the grand final bracket, and the plan is to reveal that bracket at the end of this episode after those 5 spots are determined. But now, I think let's go ahead and start getting to the fun. Let's get to our first fight here, where our first fight is going to be the 2-seeded Toxic 2, who is going to take on the 10-seeded Dystopia. We got a big flipper battle here. Toxic 2 came out of their first round matchup with a win over the powerful flipper Beast 2. Dystopia came through with a victory over Breaker Box in order to get to this spot here. So we got a difficult matchup for both of these robots here, including 2 very similar designs. Both of them are very powerful flippers in this competition, so this one's definitely gonna come down to ground game and who can take advantage and compromise when either them or their opponent screws up, makes a mistake. And I guarantee if somebody makes a mistake here, they're going to pay for it pretty badly with some serious airtime. Yeah, so I'm ready to see some airtime and probably some robots hitting the ceiling, because I know both these robots have sent opponents to the ceiling before in this competition, and I'm sure we're going to see it again tonight. I'd say let's go ahead and get to the first matchup of the night and get the fun started. Time for this matchup to begin here. Both robots meeting in the middle. Dystopia lands the first flip, but they are knocked off balance in the process and take a huge flip from Toxic 2. Another nice lift right there. Toxic 2, another big flip, and we got smoke already, and it is coming from the backside of Dystopia. That is not a good start for them. Right now they are floundering, trying to self-right, but struggling to do so. Toxic 2 taking advantage pretty well. Now charging head on, another nice flip from Toxic 2. Dystopia coming in, getting underneath Toxic 2, landing a little bit of a lift, but not getting much airtime in there. And right now these two robots clashing again. Dystopia seeming to win the ground game right there, and landing a huge flip that almost sent Toxic 2 out of the arena. Big flip from Toxic 2 in response, another big flip right there. There, Dystopia getting some serious air mileage, big flip, and I saw some static right there. Dystopia is on control board damage. It's not what they want here. Toxic 2 landing another flip, putting them right on the floor flipper right there. And here comes Toxic 2 coming in once again. Huge flip that almost sent Dystopia over the arena walls and sent them to the ceiling. Another big flip from Toxic 2. Toxic 2 really showing off the power in that flipper, really taking it to Dystopia. Big flip that almost sent Dystopia out of the arena, but disabled its control board. So that is going to be the end of this fight right there. Toxic 2 is moving on, and will be confirmed a spot in the grand final. Man, we got to see a little bit of back and forth action. I knew we were going to see some really powerful flips from both robots, and I think we definitely got that from both those two robots. What a way to start off the night right there with a good flipper battle here. But then Toxic 2, I'd say they won the driving battle here. They definitely didn't win the ground game every single time, because Dystopia got quite a few flipping opportunities in there and took advantage of them pretty well. But Dystopia made a few driving errors in there, resulting in Toxic 2 getting underneath them and tossing them in the air. And then it ended up being Dystopia's control board going out first. And so Toxic 2 wins, and they will advance. Dystopia not out yet, but then they will have an interesting challenge for them. We'll see who their opposition will be in that rumble that will be coming later tonight. As for Toxic 2, they'll be awaiting the winner of Electric Boogaloo and Bullfrog. But before we get to that fight, we're going to go over to the 4 and the 5 seed for fight number 2. We got Razer and Mute. Two very different robots right there. Both of them try to win the ground game against their opponent, but for different purposes. So on one side we got the higher seed Razer, who looks to get underneath an opponent and dig that crusher right into their opponent and cause a tremendous amount of damage like what they have done all season. Then on the other side we get Mute with that front hinge flipper right there. Definitely been a very durable robot so far this season. We'll have to see how will they fare against such an interesting opponent like Razer, because we haven't seen Mute take on a crusher before. So this is going to be a great test for Mute and all that stuff. So yeah, this one is going to be a very tactical showdown. I think this is going to be another one like the last matchup where it's going to come down to driving and ground game. Because Mute's definitely going to want to stay out of that crusher right there, out of that mouth, while Razer's going to want to try to avoid the flipper as much as possible, because we have seen Razer struggle to self-right in the past. Well, lots on the line here. Let's go ahead and get to this showdown. Time for this matchup to begin. Both robots meeting in the middle, testing their ground game. It's Razer lower to the ground and digging that crusher right into the top right there. They have a pretty good hold on there. Mute trying to get out with that front hinged flipper, and Mute looking like they escaped right there, but in the corner. They need to get out of there and quickly. Phenomenal start by Razer winning the ground game, but now we got a push off between these two robots, and it seems to be Mute with the stronger drivetrain between the two of them. And right now, both robots back off right there. Razer coming in right there. We got another head-on clash. Mute getting underneath, and one flip was all it took, and Razer is out of the arena right there. Phenomenal driving right there from Mute. Well done by Mute right there. I'm guessing they were trying to lure Razer right there, just to try to toss them out of the arena or something, try to bait them for an UDA or something, and it clearly worked, whether that was the case or not. Well done to Mute right there. definitely did not start out in their favor because they started off in the clutches of Razer, but unfortunately was able to get out of that grip before Razer could damage something important inside of Mute, and then got into position, got underneath Razer, and tossed him clean out of the arena to advance to the next round. So now the question will be, they'll take on a spinner for their next opponent, but will it be 900 or PP3D? We'll have to find out later, because we're going over to the third quadrant here for our third fight of the night. We're going to see the 3-seeded Electric Boogaloo and the 11-seeded Bullfrog. So definitely the higher-seeded Electric Boogaloo is favored to win this matchup, but you never want to underestimate Bullfrog, who has definitely had the most fights so far out of anybody here, because they are the one robot who got out of the first bracket we did during this 4-episode series. He's managed to win 4 fights in order to get here, and won their matchup with Thor. So definitely this frog is not one to be underestimated right there. But never underestimate Electric Boogaloo either, because that vertical spinner has provided a huge reign of terror so far this season. Tremendous amounts of damage here. And we're going to have to see, and this is going to be a serious test for Bullfrog's durability. It's been great in most of their fights so far, but how will it fare against one of the biggest spinners in this competition? So, we're going to find out here. I think we got another great fight coming, and I'd say let's go ahead and get right to this one and find out who's going to take on Toxic 2 in the next round. Time for this matchup to begin. Both robots charging in the middle, and it ends up being Electric Boogaloo getting flipped over after going over the top of Bullfrog. Huge hit by Electric Boogaloo right there, giving Bullfrog serious amounts of airtime. Bullfrog trying to self-right, but they keep getting hit time and time again by Electric Boogaloo and that vertical spinner right there. Not a good start for Bullfrog, who's just trying to self-right, while Electric Boogaloo's just landing haymaker after haymaker, not giving Bullfrog an inch. But now Bullfrog got the breathing room and positioned themselves well. Nice flip by Bullfrog right there, giving Electric Boogaloo some serious airtime. Another big hit by Electric Boogaloo, but Electric Boogaloo seems to have been damaged in the process right there. That vertical spinner looks to be unbalanced right there. I think their weapon might have lost a tooth or something right there, because that robot is really shaky right now, very unstable. And now they are landing hit after hit now on Bullfrog here, who's trying to self-right, but now Bullfrog rights themselves again and is now going on the attack with that flipper right there, but they need to be careful about flipping themselves over right now. Big flip by Bullfrog right there. This is where Bullfrog really needs to take advantage. Electric Boogaloo has been damaged. They just sent Electric Boogaloo to the ceiling right there. Right now. And right now, here comes Bullfrog once again, while Electric Boogaloo, who might be maybe turn off the spinner or something, try to gain some control, but now they're spinning on a wheel like a ballerina right there. I don't know that. Gotta give them style credit, I guess. I wish that was part of the judging criteria, but right now they're just taking flip after flip from Bullfrog here. Now Electric Boogaloo coming in with a few more jabs right there. But then not a lot of damage so far with the vertical spinner. Bullfrog's durability is great as it usually is here, and they are now letting flip after flip, starting to take control of this match right now. Now, definitely heavy points for both robots so far in this fight, but gotta say though, that damage done to that vertical spinner is very key for Electric Boogaloo right now. So, less than a minute to go in this fight. Bullfrog now coming in for some more flips. Electric Boogaloo resorting to spinning on one wheel again, and right there, and all that fun stuff. Another couple of nice flips from Bullfrog once again, giving Electric Boogaloo some serious air mileage. Gotta be careful about that vertical spinner landing on top, because that vertical spinner, it might be damaged, but it is still very much a lethal weapon. Continuing to land flips time and time again, demonstrating control right there. Another big flip, sending Electric Boogaloo to the ceiling once again. And how are both these robots still going right now? 10 seconds left to go in this match right now. Another nice lift from Bullfrog once again, and here, and tossing them out of the arena at the last second right there. You can see literally 1 second on the clock right there. And Bullfrog decided no thank you to the judges and just decided to get the knockout right there or something. I gotta admit, that would have been a pretty close judge's decision, and in my eyes, just because both robots got some pretty solid action, so definitely better to take the knockout in any cases, rather than let it go to the judges, because, yeah, you get the idea, so. But yeah, well done to Bullfrog right there, using that flipper, taking advantage, because like, it was definitely Electric Boogaloo early on, landing huge hits with that vertical spinner that they are so well known for. But then eventually that vertical spinner took damage and left them unbalanced for the remainder of the... Left them unstable and unbalanced for the rest of the match, basically. And Bullfrog took advantage of that pretty well in this one. Landed a ton of flips of their own. And then got Electric Boogaloo out of the arena at the last second in order to secure their victory. Bullfrog will have another interesting challenge coming in the next round, where Toxic 2 awaits them. One of the most powerful flippers in the competition here, while Bullfrog's definitely securing their name as one of the more powerful flippers in the competition too, so I think we got another great showdown coming later on. But before we get to that matchup, we got one last matchup to do in this round, and we're going to go to the top-seeded 900, who's going to take on the 8-seeded PP3D. Two very different weapons here. They are spinners, but different spinners. Because like on one side we got the top seeded 900, the favorite to win this bracket with that drum spinner, which has done tremendous amounts of damage to all their opponents so far, including the robot they lost to, Iron Awe 7. And yeah, PP3D on the other hand with an undercutter that has also done tremendous amounts of damage so far. And yeah, so I'm sure 900 strategy is probably going to be try to avoid the undercutter, try to go for those wheels on PP3. Maybe go weapon on weapon if they have to, but yeah. And then PP3D on the other hand, try to avoid the drum spinner. Try to go to the sides and the back side, a 900 right there. They are pretty well armored, but maybe they can go underneath the robot with that undercutter, try to slice up the wheels or something. Regardless though, I think we got a great fight coming to end this round. We're going to find out who's going to take on Mute in the next round here. This one should be great. Let's go ahead and get right to this one. Time for this matchup to begin here. Both robots spinning their weapons up right now. Some weapon-on-weapon action early on in this one. And nearly getting a wheel right there, and nearly getting it one again right there. Weapon-on-weapon action here that seems to be favoring 900 so far right now. And yeah, so 900 getting underneath PP3D. Part of that spinner just came off on PP3D right there. And another piece of the spinner, and holy crap, what just happened right there? There, we just saw parts of PP3D's weapon come off, and now the entire drum spinner of 900 just came off right there. And that thing is now unbalanced. Holy crap, that is a huge game changer right there. We see like, I knew parts were gonna fly in this matchup just because we have two big spinners in the arena, but I didn't think the 900 is going to lose their entire drum spinner. This is a huge game changer for PP3D right now, who's now trying to take advantage of this. Looking to get that undercutter up to speed and chew apart 900. They lost another piece of that spinner right there, I'm guessing from damage from all those weapon-on-weapon exchanges. Those things really took their tolls on not just PP3D, but 900, because PP3D is now the only one with like the closest to a fully functional weapon, basically. Halfway through this fight, and 900 might be in some serious trouble right now. What are they going to be able to do here? Because like, this was huge right there. I can't believe this happened. And so yeah, continuing to push the other, trying to make the final push here, try to cause some more key damage here. And gotta say, 900 might, the top seed, the favorite to win this one, might be in some serious trouble right now. I would say lots of those weapon-on-weapon exchanges were favoring them, but definitely damage definitely did not go in their favor right there. Yeah, not sure why 900 is shaking like that, but still though, PP3D doing a solid job taking advantage of that, just grinding away at 900 here. Amazing that 900 is still working even after all the damage they took. Less than a minute to go in this one right now. PP3D driving a little awkwardly right now. I wonder if they took some damage to their drivetrain or something, because they definitely don't look right within the drivetrain area. Well, neither does 900 exactly either, but they seem to have more control with their drive than PP3D does right now. This is pretty big. Less than 15 seconds to go in this fight. Are we going to have our first judge's decision of the night here? Both robots trying to go in for that final push there. A couple more glancing blows with that undercutter. And this fight is now in the hands of the judges for the first time tonight. Holy crap, a lot happened in this fight. This fight started off with a bunch of weapon-on-weapon action here. A couple moments where 900 got to the sides of the backside of PP3D. But it eventually, the fight eventually turned completely around, because it looked like 900 is going to win this one off of the fact that they were breaking apart PP3D's weapon, and they were winning most of the weapon-on-weapon exchanges. But that changed pretty quickly, because we saw the entire drum spinner 900 fall out right there, and the entire fight changed from there. We saw 900 shaking off balance for a lot of it, got a few relatively solid control moments, but for the majority of it from there, it was PP3D getting hits in with whatever they had left of the undercutter right there and dealing out as much damage as they possibly could. But I will admit, PP3D's drive definitely looked a little awkward at the end here. It's going to be interesting how the judges determine this thing, but I hear the judges' votes are in. Let's go ahead and find out what they had to say. So now the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is PP3D. Yeah, so that fight was probably scored about the way I probably would have done it right there. And yeah, because I probably would have scored it for PP3D, but I wouldn't have argued with the result if they gave it to 900 or something like that, because 900 had a bunch of really solid moments in this fight. So yeah, we will see PP3D in the next round, where they will take on Mute. As for 900, they will join the other three contenders who didn't make it out of this round: Razer, Dystopia, and Electric Boogaloo, in what should be a heck of a rumble later on. But before we get to that one, we're going to go through the final four here. Where on one side, we got the undercutter of PP3D and the front hinge flipper of Mute, who will clash it out. And then on the other side, we got Toxic 2 and Bullfrog. These four will round out seeds 12 through 15 in the grand final bracket, but then their place in this bracket at the end of the episode will determine what seed they get. On the other side, we'll have Toxic 2 and Bullfrog, another flipper battle. So a lot of fun's on the way. Let's go ahead and talk about our first fight of this round. We're going to go to PP3D and Mute. PP3D immediately returning back to the arena right there, but yeah, this one a very different opponent for PP3D than who they just beat in the top seed at 900 right there. They're now up against the front hinge flipper of Mute, which that flipper has been a huge reign of terror for several of their opponents, and their other big weapon being their durability, because they've done a great job of taking impacts from spinners, and PP3D's a spinner, so Mute's definitely going to try to use that durability to their advantage and try to knock PP3D off balance as much as possible with that flipper, and maybe get PP3D out of the arena before PP3D potentially starts doing some serious damage with that undercutter. Because we did learn in Mute's fight with Carbide that underside on Mute is definitely very much vulnerable, and definitely their weak point. So they're going to want to try to avoid PP3D getting to that underside with that horizontal spinner. So regardless though, we got another great fight coming. Great one to start this round out. Let's go ahead and get to this fight. Time for this matchup to begin here. PP3 slow in getting that horizontal spinner up to speed, but now getting some glancing blows at the sides right there. Mute taking it pretty easily so far here, and now Mute trying to charge in. Temporary off balance, but solid shot right there from PP3D, who now opens up the pit. Is that wise decision though? Because Mute is definitely the more capable robot. And now a huge hit from the floor flipper right there. And now PP3D at the underside was temporarily underneath them and got a glancing blow or two on the underside. Mute just landed their first flip of the episode. Or not the episode, the fight right there, and now PP3D back at the underside, looking to try to chew up the underside, similar to what Carbide had revealed when they fought Mute earlier in the season. So, huge hit that flips Mute over right there. PP3D stacking up the points very early on in this fight. We're 1 minute through here. I would definitely say PP3D on top pretty easily right now, but there are still 2 minutes left to go in this fight, so a lot could happen. Shot from the floor flipper right there lifts PP3D up right there, while they're continuing to try to grind away at the sides and the front of Mute right there. Another couple of solid shots right there, getting to the underside once again here, but they still got to be careful about that flipper, because that flipper is still very much active. Nice flip from Mute right there. Another nice flip that almost gets PP3D out of the arena here. Mute starting to get opportunities to use that front hinge flipper right there. Gotta give a lot of credit to Mute's durability, who took those impacts like crazy. And now they have PP3D in the corner here, landing hit after hit with that flipper right there, continuing to knock PP3D off balance. This is an excellent sign of control right here from the front hinge flipper, who is continuing to knock PP3D off balance here. But now PP3D has the breathing room and looking to land some more hits with that undercutter. Nearing the pit of oblivion right there. Is a robot going to fall down it? It's Mute right on the edge right there. And down the pit goes Mute right there. And this fight is going to end in a KO for PP3D. That was a pretty incredible brawl right there between those two robots. We saw PP3D very early on landing a ton of hits with that undercutter. They're getting to the underside a few times, which has been determined to be Mute's weak point right there, and did dish out a little bit of control board damage right there, as we saw right in the top corner where Mute's health bar is, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so this one ended in PP3D's favor, because while Mute did get some great opportunities a little bit later on in the fight with that flipper, it ended up being Mute falling down the pit of oblivion after it looked like they were going to try to push PP3D down the pit or something like that. And it will be PP3D moving on to tonight's final of this bracket, where they await either Toxic 2 or it could be a rematch with Bullfrog from their semifinal episode, which they came out on top in. So I don't know who they'd prefer to take on between the two of them, but I imagine it'll be a great fight either way. Let's determine who PP3's opponent will be next, because our next fight is going to be a flipper battle between two of the best flippers in this competition. We got Bullfrog and Toxic 2. Both robots kind of came out of nowhere here, because Toxic 2, a rookie for this season, well known for their experience, well known for their performance in other competitions featuring this Robot Arena 2 mod. Toxic 2 has gone far in several of these tournaments here, and Bullfrog also kind of came out of nowhere here, because Bullfrog, robot that went 1-1 last season, bowing out in the first round of the postseason. But now they're at this point in the competition. They're going to be in the grand final, which is incredible for this robot. But they got a tough challenge here in Toxic 2 here. These are two powerful flippers. They're looking to make a serious statement for themselves to all those grand final robots, and definitely a lot is on the line here. I'd say we got a big matchup coming, and I'd say let's go ahead and get to it soon. And let's go ahead and get right to this matchup, because I think this one's going to come down to driving and who can win the ground game and land more flips. Time for this matchup to begin, and Bullfrog lands the first flip right there. Another nice lift that puts Toxic 2 in the corner right there. A couple more nice flips from Bullfrog. Great start from them, but now they flip themselves over, and that gave Toxic 2 the breathing room they needed. And now Toxic 2 getting underneath, letting some flips of their own in this one. I imagine at least one of these robots is going to get a serious amount of air mileage between the two. And Toxic 2 now starting to land some flips. We got several flips from both robots to start this one off here, and Toxic 2 nearly getting Bullfrog out of the arena. The Pit of Oblivion is now open in this one. Incredible what we are seeing so far between these two. This one's definitely going to be a battle for control, and so far it's been pretty dead even, but Toxic 2 is starting to really stack up the number of flips they are landing right there. And another nice flip from Toxic 2 right there. Huge flip right there from Toxic 2. And now Bullfrog in the corner right now. They need to get out of there and quickly here right now. Get some breathing room so that way they can land some flips of their own. Toxic 2 starting to win the ground war right now. Starting to land flip after flip in this one. Just keeping Bullfrog off balance, trying to give them as few opportunities as possible. Bullfrog landed a nice flip right there. Now Bullfrog starting to get some activity with that flipper right there. And Toxic 2 needing to rebound right now and definitely struggled to do so. But now they got the breathing room they needed, and now landing another couple of flips right there. We are halfway through this fight. It's been a pretty close match so far. And yeah, all that stuff. Huge flip right there. Those are probably the two biggest flips of the match so far, in my opinion. And huge flip right there that gives Bullfrog some serious airtime. What a fight we are seeing here between these two. A couple more nice flips from Toxic 2. And now Bullfrog getting underneath, landing a couple more nice flips right there. Another big flip from Bullfrog, their biggest flip of the match in my opinion. Now Toxic 2 landing a haymaker of their own right there. Here, definitely both robots getting some serious air mileage. I imagine if either of these robots, these robots got more air mileage than it took to travel over for this competition. So, yeah, 30 seconds left to go in this competition. Well, 30 seconds left to go in this fight. I don't know why I said that, but this one's been a very close fight so far, and yeah, I'd say probably Toxic 2's got the edge, not by much though. Oh, because we got 10 seconds left to go. Some more nice lift. And I see control board action on Toxic 2, actually. Could this possibly be a game changer right there? Less than 10 seconds to go. It's looking like this fight's going to the judges as more last second control board action. But Toxic 2 has survived, and this fight is going to be in the hands of the judges. So yeah, this one was definitely going to be a ground game war and a battle of who is the better flipper between the two robots, basically. And so far, very early on, like, I don't even want to say that, because it was back and forth throughout the entire matchup. Both robots getting opportunities where they landed huge flip after huge flip on the other. Both robots got some serious air miles after this fight, and kind of as we expected, because I was expecting robots were going to go flying in this one, and that's exactly what we got. And this was my favorite fight of the night so far, but we still got 3 more fights coming after this. So, but regardless though, like, I would say Toxic 2 had a little more in the control action than Bullfrog, but then on the other hand, we saw control board action on Toxic 2. So that's damage that's going to favor Bullfrog. But it's going to be interesting how the judges analyze this fight, and I imagine this is going to be a very close judges decision. And let's go ahead and find out what the judges had to say about this one. So yeah, the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Toxic 2. Yeah, so this one, not sure who it would have gone to exactly. I was a little surprised this one was a unanimous judges decision, to be completely honest, because this was a difficult one I felt to judge, and like, yeah, so Toxic 2 will advance where they are waiting PP3, where PP3D awaits them. That should be an interesting dance between those two robots. And then for our third place match of this bracket, we'll see we'll see another flipper battle between Mute and Bullfrog. But before we get to that, we got to determine the 16 seed in this grand final bracket. So that's coming next. We got 3 fights left to go. These 3 fights will determine the seeding and for the last 5 spots in the grand final right there. We already know PP3D, Mute, Toxic 2, and Bullfrog will secure the seeds of 12 through 15. And basically, depending on their placement after those last two fights will determine what robots get what seeds. But then we gotta determine the 16 seed, which is between the 4 robots who came out of these first 4 matchups with a loss. And enough talk here, because we got a Rumble now. And this Rumble features 4 very dangerous robots right there. I am really excited for this. We got on one side, we got the Drum Spinner of 900, who was the favorite to win this bracket. Could they be the favorite to win this one? Then next, we got the Flipper Dystopia. Another really powerful flipper right there. Definitely another one to watch out for. Then we got the 3rd seeded Electric Boogaloo, that dangerous vertical spinner right there. And then we got the 4 seeded the Crusher of Razer. So yes, we have 4 big and powerful names in here, and this is gonna be a fun Rumble to see. It's like we always love to see 4 really powerful robots getting in the arena at the same time, and we definitely got one here. But keep in mind though, while the last time we had a 4 robot Rumble in one of these brackets, the top 2 made it through. That is not the case with this one, because only the winning robot will be making it through to that grand final, and we're going to find out who gets it very soon, because I'd say let's go ahead and get to this fight right now and determine who's going to get the 16 seed and take on the favorite, the top seed in the grand final. Time for this match to begin. Let the Rumble begin. Razer and 900 going at it. Dystopia and Electric Boogaloo. Dystopia avoiding Electric Boogaloo and opening the pit right now. 900 ganged up on Razer and Electric Boogaloo right there, but Razer ended up taking a huge flip. Big flip by Dystopia that puts 900 down the pit. 900, who's possibly the favorite to win this bracket, ends up being the first one out. And now both robots gang up on Razer, but now they're ganging up on Dystopia. They had enough of Dystopia running away like that. And now we're ganging up on Dystopia here. Electric Boogaloo trying to get a hit on Razer, but struggling to do so. The ground game of Razer is just incredible. Both robots kind of going at it, going after Dystopia, it looks like. Razer trying to get a bite on Dystopia, but Dystopia took a hit from Electric Boogaloo. The flipper's off. Dystopia takes Razer into the pit, but ends up taking itself into the pit. Electric Boogaloo on top. We have a dog pile in the pit right there. And it ends up being Electric Boogaloo coming out on top. What the heck did we just see right there? Like, on one hand, I saw 900 getting flipped right into the pit right there. Then I see Razer getting a bite on Dystopia. Dystopia pushes Razer in, but thanks to it being in the clutches of Razer, ended up taking itself into the pit as well. And then Electric Boogaloo just joined them right in there for I don't know what reason. But regardless though, we got to see a dog pile in the pit right there. I don't think I've seen that many robots, especially heavyweights, in the pit at once right there. Regardless, that was fun action, and it'll be Electric Boogaloo who will get that grand final spot, get that 16 seed. What a rumble we just saw there. That was pretty fun to see, and I've never seen a dog pile like that before in my life, and regardless, it was great action. Let's go ahead and get to the top 4 robots right there, while I'm sure lots of you are trying to clear your mind on what the heck just happened there. Next fight then. We got Bullfrog and Mute, where the winner of this will be awarded the 14 seed in the grand final bracket. The losing robot will still be in the grand final. They'll just gain the 15 seed instead. So we got another battle between flippers. We got Bullfrog with their powerful flipper and incredible durability. Then we got Mute, who's also an incredibly durable robot, but they have a front hinge flipper rather than the type of flipper that we are used to seeing in this competition. So yeah, this should be another incredible fight that we're seeing right here. Another great flipper battle, because we sure do love to see those here in this competition. And I'd say let's go ahead and get right to this fight. Time for this match to begin here. Both robots being in the middle here. Bullfrog lands the first flip and sends Mute flying in this one. Right there. Now, Bullfrog trying to get underneath, ends up pushing Mute right into the sides, lands another flip right there. And now they have Mute right in the corner, which is where Bullfrog wants them. Both robots fighting for that higher seed in the grand final right now. And now Mute starting to get some flips of their own, and now they have Bullfrog in the corner right there. Excellent action from Mute right there. They're turning it around after that series of flips that Bullfrog landed on them. And right there. Excellent stuff from Mute right there. Bullfrog trying to get out of there, but Mute's just denying that from happening right now. So both robots kind of being in the middle. Watch out, because Bullfrog was kind of getting a little close there. And now Mute landing another flip right there. Bullfrog being forced to self-right. Trying to get the breathing room. Struggling to get underneath Mute right now. Mute seems to be winning the ground game so far in this one. Some excellent flips right there that we are seeing so far. And yeah. So right now Mute seems to be winning the ground war so far in this one. And Bullfrog needs to get back to what they were doing at the beginning of the fight. Get back to what they started. Because right now this fight is not going in Bullfrog's favor right now. Because they are just getting flipped time and time again by the front hinge flipper. Right now. More flips being landed by Mute right there, who's definitely winning this fight as we just crossed the halfway point in this one. Okay. So yeah. So right now, some more head-on action here. Another nice flip from Mute once again, who's definitely had more control of this match so far. Bullfrog needs to get something going and fast right now, because Mute's just winning the driving war pretty soundly right now. Just showing some excellent control. Right now, nice flips from Mute right there once again, taking Bullfrog into the corner here. Bullfrog trying to get underneath, but continuing to just take flip after flip. Bullfrog needs to change their driving strategy up or something like that, because this is just not working for them. And Mute the points are really stacking up for Mute right now. Now we got a shot from the floor flipper right there. There's Bullfrog landing a huge flip right there, the biggest flip of the match in my opinion. 30 seconds left to go. Another nice flip from Bullfrog right there, knocking Mute off balance and tossing Mute out of the arena right there. Probably better for Bullfrog to go for the knockout like that, because I imagine if we saw another 30 seconds pass of this match and we saw a judge's decision, even if Bullfrog took control of the remainder of that match, I imagine the judge's decision probably would have gone in Mute's favor. So better they better that they get the knockout right there, as they did, and well done to Bullfrog right there. We saw Mute taking control of majority of the match right there. They took a few flips early on from Bullfrog, but then once they started getting underneath Mute started getting underneath Bullfrog, they just started landing flip after flip. Excellent stuff from them right there. Even though they have the 15 seed after coming out of this fight, because Bullfrog did eventually start getting underneath Mute once again and started landing flips until they got Mute out of the arena here. Mute is definitely still another one to watch out for, because that front hinge flipper is incredible power-wise, and it's also got some incredible ground game to it. So yeah, another great fight here. I'd say let's go ahead and move on to our last fight of the night. We got PP3D and Toxic 2. Two very different robots here. Two robots that are definitely very much worthy of being in this spot right now. On one side, we got the spinner bot, PP3D, with that undercutter, who will be looking to try to deal out as much damage as possible to their opponent. Toxic 2 is going to be trying to get underneath PP3, knock that robot off balance, and control the fight with that powerful flipper, maybe get PP3D out of the arena. So yeah, a lot is on the line in this fight, seeding-wise, and definitely going to be a difficult road for both these two robots, as these two try to go through each other for a better seed in the competition, in the grand final. And so I say let's go ahead and get to this fight of the night and find out who's going to be getting that who's going to be getting that better seed in the grand final. Time for what I call the main event to begin here. PP3D getting that spinner up to speed right now, starting to get some glancing blows on the front and sides of Toxic 2 here. Pretty solid start from PP3D right now. More head-on action here. Toxic 2 struggling to get underneath with that flipper. So yeah, continuing to go to the sides here, landing a flip pretty early on by Toxic 2, but they end up being the one flipped over in the process, and now PP3D going to work once again. Now Toxic 2 has PP3D on its side, knocking them off balance right now. and all that fun stuff. So yeah, these two going head on right now. PP3D now getting to the sides once again, trying to dish out some damage. Not a lot of damage done so far by the Undercutter, but now Toxic 2 has PP3D in the corner right now. No, has him flipped over right now. This is not where PP3D wants to be right now. Excellent stuff from Toxic 2 here, demonstrating some excellent control right now. And PP3D flipped over, getting that spinner back up to speed, letting some more hits, but just letting it right into, just running into a brick wall basically, who's tossing them up into the air in Toxic 2 right now. But yeah, so charging right in there is Toxic 2 once again, letting a couple more nice flips here halfway through this fight. I would probably say Toxic 2 is definitely in the lead so far point-wise, but PP3D is not far behind, including right now trying to make up for it, letting a bunch more nice shots of their own with that Undercutter right there. Takes another couple of flips right there from the Flipper bot and all that fun stuff. So what a fight we are seeing so far. Pretty back and forth. So a lot of points gathered by both robots so far right now as we approach the final minute of this fight. This has been one heck of a brawl between these two robots. Yeah, and so Toxic 2, another couple of flips right there, and now PP3D underneath Toxic 2 right there, but ends up taking themselves into the rails. I'm not sure why they did that, but this has been one heck of a dance-off between these two robots. Both these robots want that advantage seeding-wise in the grand finals, so yeah, these two are just going to stop at nothing to get it right now. PP3D a bunch more nice shots, but now Toxic 2 has PP3D in the corner once again, and off comes the flipper right there! This is exactly what happened in Toxic 2's downfall with Swarm in their semi-final episode, and now they are without a weapon for the last 20 seconds of this fight right now. That was huge damage-wise in PP3D's favor right there. Because now they're grinding away the front and the sides, trying to dish out as much damage as they can within these last 30 seconds. But this fight, I think this one's going to end in the hands of the judges right there, and it will. What a game changer right there we just saw. Could PP3D have just taken the fight with that? Was it enough? Because I would say in the first 2.5 minutes, Toxic 2 was pretty safely in the lead right there. They did take a bunch of hits from that Undercutter, but the amount of control they had with that flipper was huge right there. Right there. Tossing PP3D time and time again, keeping them off balance, demonstrating phenomenal control right there was big in their hands, and definitely gotta give them a ton of credit for that. But then gotta imagine right when about when the 30-second mark hit was when PP3D just sliced that flipper right off, and definitely proved that they were not out yet. They were not going to go down without a fight right there, and that was a huge piece of damage right there. So it's going to be amazing how the judges are going to score this one, because I'm definitely glad I am not a judge here. I'm glad I'm just your normal old commentator of War Machines. So yeah, let's go ahead and find out what the judges had to say, because their results are in. Alright, so the judges' votes are in, and we have a split decision. We're going to go through this one by one this time. Judge Civilian Art scored this battle for PP3D. Judge Corino scored this battle for Toxic 2. The deciding vote was the Judge Aqua, who has scored this fight for PP3D. Okay, so according to 2 out of 3 judges, looks like cleaving that flipper was enough of a bounce back for PP3D to be able to take this fight. But regardless, that was an incredible brawl between those two robots. I wouldn't have been surprised what direction it would have gone, and I would not have argued with the decision. I'm definitely not shocked that was a split decision, basically, based on what I said. PP3D will be awarded the higher seed between these two robots, and yeah, so now the grand final has been determined. Those last 5 spots have been determined and are going to Electric Boogaloo Mute, Bullfrog, Toxic 2, and PP3D, I'd say let's go ahead and check out the bracket right now. Okay, so we have the grand final bracket featuring the 10 robots who got first place in their semifinal bracket. The lost bracket champion Ironaut 2.1, and then the 5 robots who made it to this point here, who made it past several hard-fought fights in order to get here through the last chance section. So let's go through this quadrant by quadrant, where we're going to go to the first quadrant first. We're the favorite to win this. Not surprised, it is the deadly horizontal spinner of Carbide, another rookie bot who's kind of come out of nowhere. Well known for its Robot Wars history in IRL, and definitely has been a force to be reckoned with here. They'll be taking on Electric Boogaloo, who won the Big Rumble so far in what should be a heck of a showdown. Then right down below, we got the 8 and the 9 seeded, which were awarded to Neutron and Hades. Two very different robots, and I imagine another epic showdown is coming between those two. Now to quadrant number 2, where we got the 2-seeded Eruption, the defending champion of War Machines, who is a big challenge in the 15-seeded Mute right down below them. I imagine that'll be another epic battle. And then right down below, another big Robot Wars contender, rookie bot to War Machines Apollo, who will be taking on the 10-seeded Salad Tosser, 2 more great grand finalists. It's right in that matchup, and I imagine this quadrant a lot could happen in it. Then in the third quadrant, the favorite to go through that one is Last Rites, with that deadly horizontal spinner, another one of the most dangerous spinners in this competition. And we're going to find out how well Bullfrog's durability holds up to one of the deadliest spinners in the competition, because Bullfrog has a date with Last Rites coming in the next episode, and that's going to be a really hard-fought fight. And then who would have believed in the other matchup that we knew Ironaut 7 was going to be in this bracket? Ironaut 2.1 made their way through the lost bracket, and who would have expected that those two would have ended up getting paired up with each other? So yes, Ironaut 7 and Ironaut 2.1 will fight in the next episode, determine who is the better Ironaut robot between the two. Can't wait to find out next time. Then the last quadrant, the fourth quadrant, where we'll see Sewer Snake and Toxic 2 fight it out. 2 great control bots here, and that one should be another epic showdown. Then right down below, the 5-seeded Swarm with that terrific horizontal spinner. We have so many huge spinners in this competition. They'll be taking on another horizontal spinner in PP3D, who won tonight's bracket, and definitely proved why they are a force to be reckoned with, and why that loss to Last Rites could have been a fluke. Definitely feel free to reply with predictions and stuff. Always love to hear who you think is going to be one to come out. Basically, from here, we're gonna see a single elimination bracket until we are down to the last robot standing, who will be awarded the championship for War Machines Season 3.1. But before we get to that, I brought up awards in the last episode, because we are doing awards: Most Destructive, Best Design, Rookie of the Year, Dark Horse, and Fan Favorite. So, if you haven't already, reply down below with who your vote is for those 5 awards, because I would love your help in determining who should be awarded all 5 of those. I want to hear your opinion for who you think should get all of those. If you don't know who to pick, I have some suggestions right there. Go ahead and use them and stuff. That's why they're there, other than Fan Favorite, where I just want to know who you thought was the most entertaining robot so far, which Eric's in the lead for that one. Which doesn't surprise me, because Eric is pretty awesome. So yeah, right now, definitely reply down below with who your votes are for those, as well as your predictions for the grand final bracket. So yeah, that'll do it for this episode and the Last Chance episode series. Next time, it's time to start the grand final. So thanks for watching this video. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button and for more, and I'll hopefully see you next time.